were speaking about sharing something very special with you. Every day, the two of us, Chakra as well as myself, we speak about Sri Lanka and us recovering from post-war period. Now, today we're speaking about a certain devastation that hit us in the year of 2004 and how we recovered from it, and of course the assistance that we were granted by various parties, especially in making sure that people were granted the relief that they needed. Now, speaking of this form of relief, the guest we have with us is someone very special, and I will let her speak and let you know exactly what kind of relief that they granted for everyone here in Sri Lanka. So I introduce to you Dr. Hughs, and she's right next to me, all the way from Australia. Welcome on board. It's lovely to have you here this morning.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so now we were speaking about the tsunami period and how we recovered from that. So what exactly is the involvement that you're all actually, coming down to Sri Lanka and then understanding the situation? How did all this start off?
Well, we came to Sri Lanka originally. My whole family came in 2004 for a holiday.
Okay, when was this?
This was in Christmas 2004.
Okay.
We came because our family loves cricket.
Oh, I see.
And my son wanted to play cricket all the time. And when I go on holiday, I like to read a book.
Obviously.
So I always had to play cricket. But my friends told me, our goddaughter in Australia is Sri Lankan, and they said, if you go to Sri Lanka and you take a cricket bat and a ball to the beach, loads of people come and play with you.
Definitely,
yes. So we had 3 beautiful days on the beach at Anuwatuna with lots of people playing cricket with my son and my husband, and myself and my daughters enjoying ourselves separately, not playing cricket.
Definitely.
But it only lasted for 3 days, because on Boxing Day, of course, the tsunami arrived and devastated the whole of that coastline. And we were very lucky. We hadn't actually gone to the beach for breakfast that morning. We were still in our hotel room. We were in a 2-story building. We all managed to climb on the roof together, and we survived with no personal injury. We lost everything, but we had no personal injuries.
So you actually experienced the tsunami up close?
We experienced the tsunami, and it was the most horrific day. Even thinking about it now, I feel shaky inside, because the family next to us that we'd made friends with, a couple from the Netherlands, they lost their beautiful little baby boy. The mother was holding the baby and a wall fell on top of her and she let him go, and we found the body a few hours later. But as the wave was receding, people were screaming for doctors, and I'm a paediatrician. I specialize in looking after children. So I immediately left my children and went off and worked non-stop for 4 days. I don't think I had any sleep. There were so many people who were traumatized and injured. There were so many dead bodies. It was something I can never forget, and I still have nightmares about. But I must say that the people in Sri Lanka were so beautiful. They brought us bread, they brought us bananas. They said, we're sorry that this happened to you in our country. They were apologizing to us. And when we left, first of all, we didn't come straight back to Australia. We went up to Kitugala, which I still think of as heaven, because we escaped the whole of the devastation. And we arrived in a hotel where we could have food, where all our dirty clothes could be washed. It was beautiful. And so when we got back finally to Australia, and we hadn't really lost anything, because we still had our house, we still had our family. Our insurance paid for everything that we did lose. And we felt so sad. Our hearts were still in Sri Lanka, and we wanted to do something to help the people of Sri Lanka. And we met, Melbourne has got the biggest expat community outside of Sri Lanka, in the diaspora. And there are so many people from Sri Lanka who live in Melbourne, and so many doctors as well, that we got together and we made a team called the Australian Sri Lankan Medical Aid Team.
All right, so that's how things actually started off.
That's how it
you
all
initiated
started.
It by yourself, is it, after seeing the entire devastation?
After seeing the devastation and wanting to do something to help the people of Sri Lanka. And my friends who were in Australia, they actually came over after the tsunami, and they worked as well in the hospitals. Mr. David Yen, who's an orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Quintus De Silva, who's a cardiologist, Sanuja Ranatunga, who's a general practitioner. She spent weeks in the camps giving counselling. So that was the start of it all. And we've been, initially we were involved in Karapitia Hospital and down at Hambantota Ramatra.
So what you're saying is you kind of first got in your resources, and then did you contact the government here, or did you just come in by yourselves as a private organization altogether?
It It's been a bit of both. Because we have so many Sri Lankans in Melbourne, they all have contacts over here. Everybody knows somebody over here.
Exactly,
you know?
definitely.
Yes. Dr. Quintus de Silva had a meeting with President Rajapaksa yesterday, so there's all these connections that occur. And we really go on trust. So what we do is we organize a container of medical equipment. So we get all the equipment that the hospitals in Australia are throwing out. We had 12 beautiful anesthetic machines that were not going to be used. So we collected them all, we put them in a container, we sent the container over here. And then with assistance from the government, we have the container cleared and we distribute it to the public hospitals. And we come over every 6 months and we make sure that the equipment we've sent is still being used in the public hospitals for the poor people of Sri Lanka.
That's a very good way of managing things, checking back and seeing whether the resources that you're actually providing are being utilized in the correct way. Now, since you were speaking about the involvement of the government to a certain level, now you've been coming into Sri Lanka, I'm guessing right after the tsunami. So it's 2010 right now. We are at the end of 2010. So how has the progress been like? Now gradually you would be seeing like, okay, 2005 you would see something else, and then 2006 it would be entirely different.
I have been so impressed by the progress that Sri Lanka has made. It's fantastic. And I think the feeling that I get now on this visit is one of much greater optimism and hope for the future. I really feel that Sri Lanka is about to take off. But of course there are still lots of areas of need. So certainly down at Hambantota and Karapitya the hospitals are much better. There's a lot more services available.
I'm extremely actually happy to hear that. Well, we were speaking about a very important thing that happened here in Sri Lanka, and of course what kind of assistance we've been granted, and about the Australian involvement here. So we have a very special guest who has joined us now. It's Dr. Thanusha Kadugampala. So it's lovely to have you, ma'am. It's really nice that you're also here, because especially the viewers who want to get first-hand details as to the involvement that your association has here, especially in Sinhala, would be greatly benefited. So we'll speak with you about, we were speaking with Dr. Hughs actually about her experience here in Sri Lanka, especially how she faced the tsunami, and actually what kind of relief has been granted. But if we can explain this, if we can explain it further, I think it will be much beneficial rather. So if you can tell everyone right now.
Okay. You want me to speak English?
අපි සිංහලෙන් කතා කරොත් මම හිතන්නේ හොඳයි හැමෝටම තේරුම් ගන්න පුළුවන් විදිහට අපි කියමු මොන වගේ උදව්ද මේ NGO එකක් නෙවෙයි කියලා මට කිව්වා මේ ඉන්ස්ටිටියුෂන් එක.
අපි සුනාමි වෙලාවේ මෙතනට ආපු ડોක්ටර්ස්ලා කවුරුත් කිසිම විදිහකින් හුඟක් අය එකිනෙකා දැනගෙන හිටියවත් නැහැ. උදාහරණයක් ડોක්ටර් ෂාන් මෙහි නිවාඩුව ගත කරනවා කියලා අපි දැනගෙන හිටියේ නැහැ. නමුත් මම අපි ඕස්ට්‍රේලියාවේ ඉඳන් ආව පළවෙනිම චාටර් ෆ්ලයිට් එකේ ලංකාවට ආධාර අරගෙන මෙහි ඕස්ට්‍රේලියන්ස්ලා ගෙනියන්න ආපු කොන්ටස් චාටර් ෆ්ලයිට් එකේ මාස ගානකට පස්සේ අපි ඔක්කොම ආපහු ඕස්ට්‍රේලියාවට ගියාම එකිනෙකා කතා වෙලා එකතු වෙලා හම්බ වුණා මේ ලැබපු අත්දැකීම් එකිනෙකා අතර බෙදා ගන්න. එතකොටයි වැඩි දෙනෙක් හම්බ වුණේ ડોක්ටර්ස්ලා හැටියට. අපි එකම රෙෆියුජි කැම්ප්ස් වල එක වෙලාවල් වල වැඩ කරලා තිබුණා ගාල්ලේ, මාතර, හම්බලන්ගොඩ මේ මුළු ඒරියා එකේම. ඒකතු වෙලා අපි බෙදා හදාගත්ත අත්දැකීම් උඩ තමයි අපි හැමෝම ඒකමතිකව තීරණය කරා අපි මේ ලැබපු අත්දැකීමුත් අපි මේ ලංකාව ඇතුලේ කරපු දේත් ඒම අමතක කරලා ආපහු අපිට අපේ ජීවිතේ සාමාන්‍ය විදිහට ගෙනියන්න බෑ. ඒ නිසා අපි හැමෝම ආපහු ඉදිරියටත් පුළුවන් උපරිම මට්ටමින් අපේ රටට කෙරිය යුතු යමක් කළ යුතුයි කියලා. ඒ තීරණය උඩ තමයි අපි පුංචි ඕගනයිසේෂන් එකක් හැටියට එකතු වුණේ. නමක් දාලා ඊට පස්සේ අපිට සම්බන්ධ ශ්‍රී ලංකන් නොන් ශ්‍රී ලංකන් හැමෝම අපිට උදව් කරලා අපි දැන් විශාල සමාජික සංඛ්‍යාවක් ඉන්න සාමාන්‍ය සමාජ සේවා සංගමයක් හැටියටයි එහි ලියාපදිංචි වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට අපි ලංකාවට උදව් කරන්නේ සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම මේ වොලන්ටරි ડોක්ටර්ස්ලා හැටියට. අපි මෙහි NGO එකක් හැටියට ලිස්ට් වෙන්නවත් එහෙම මේ ලියාපදිංචි වෙන්න අපේ අදහසක් තිබුණේ නැහැ. මොකද එහෙම අපි හැමෝම එහි වෘත්තීය ડોක්ටර්ස්ලා අපේ උමනාවෙන් අපේ නිවාඩු කාලේ කැමැත්තෙන් කරන දෙයක් හැටියට තමයි මේ වෛද්‍ය assistance දෙන්නේ.
ඔව් දැන් මුදල් පැත්තෙන් කතා කරොත් මොන විදිහද ඕස්ට්‍රේලියාවේ ඉන්න ශ්‍රී ලාංකිකයන්ගෙන් ලබා ගන්න මුදල්ද නැත්නම් ලංකාවේ මොකක් හරි විදිහක් තියනවද මුදල් ලබා ගන්න නැත්නම් ඖෂධ කියන්නේ බෙහෙත් ඒ වගේ දේවල් කොහොමද ලබා ගන්නේ?
වෛද්‍යවරු සහ මේකට අදාළ හැම කෙනෙක්ම එන්නේ තමන්ගේ වියදමෙන් තමන්ගේ නිවාඩුවයි තමන් මෙහෙ මේ රටේ නිවාඩුවක් ගත කරන්න තමන් වියදම් කරන්න එනවා වගේ මේ ලබාගෙන අපේ වියදමෙන්. නමුත් අපේ ක්ලිනික්ස් වල අපි විශාල ප්‍රමාණයේ ඖෂධ තොගයක් සාමාන්‍ය එකවරකට රුපියල් මිලියනයක් දෙකකට අදාළ ඖෂධ විතරක් ක්ලිනික්ස් වලින් විතරක් බෙදා හරිනවා. අවශ්‍යතාවයේ උඩ මිනිස්සුන්ගේ අපි වැඩ කරන ප්‍රදේශයේ තියෙන මිනිස්සුන්ගේ ආර්ථික තත්ත්වයක් උඩ. ඒවට අපි එහෙ ඕස්ට්‍රේලියාවේ කිසියම් කලින් කාලට ලෑස්ති කරන මේ ෆන්ඩ් රේසිං ඉවෙන්ට්ස් වලදී අපේ ශ්‍රී ලාංකික සහ ශ්‍රී ලාංකික නොවන අපේ කරන වැඩට සහයෝගය දෙන අය දෙන මුදල් වලිනුයි ෆන්ඩ් රේසිං ඉවෙන්ට්ස් වලින් ලැබෙන දේවල් වලිනුයි උදාහරණයක් ડોક્ટર ශාන් ඒ රටේ හුඟක් පිළිගත් පීඩියාට්‍රිෂන් කෙනෙක් ගොඩක් ආණ්ඩුව සහ පෞද්ගලික ආයතනවල සෑහෙන ප්‍රසිද්ධියක් ලබන ඒ වගේ අය ගිහිල්ලා මේ ඕගොල්ලන් මේ රූපවාහිනිය කළා වගේ පොඩි අපි ගැන හැඳින්වීමක් කළා මේ කරන වැඩ ගැන යමක් කියලා දුන්නාම හුඟක් අය බොහොම කැමැත්තෙන් මේකට සහයෝගීත්වය දෙනවා. ඒ මුදල් හරි විදිහට ඒ බෙහෙත් වල අත්‍යවශ්‍ය දේවල් වලට ලබා දීලා ඒ ගැන ඒගොල්ලන්ට අපහු දැනුවත් කිරීම අපේ යුතුයකම හැටියට අපි හිතනවා. මොකද අපි ස්වේච්ඡාවෙන් කළා වගේම ඒ අය කැමැත්තෙන් දෙන මුදල හරි තැනට යනවා කියන එක වගකිව යුතු අය හැටියට අපේ යුතුයකමනේ. එහෙම ලැබෙන මුදල් සහ ලංකාව ඇතුළේ හුඟක් කලාවට අපි මෙහෙම දෙයක් කරනවා කියලා දැනගත්තාම කොයි විදියෙන් හෝ උදව් කරන්න එකතු වෙන අය ඉන්නවා.
Right, so like we were speaking about the involvement this organization has here. Now we were speaking before about whether what kind of work you've been doing, and she explained exactly how they get the resources and how the sacrifices being made by each party, sacrificing their own holidays, chipping in with their own money in a very voluntary manner. So what we have to do is right now, if anyone can also make their own contributions, I believe this is the moment that we give contact details and make that request. Dr. Hughs or Dr. Kadugampala?
We've never done this before, so we are a little bit surprised and reluctant actually, because we always wanted to give something to our country. We all, I call them honorary Sri Lankans of course, but we all share one passion to help our motherland. Our motherland had gone through enough of troubles, and whatever support we can give to our mother country will be our reward for being Sri Lankans. And yes, if a lot of Sri Lankans can support, not in monetary or materialistic terms, but also to join us with our team. We do a lot of help. We've been trying to spread our wings to all parts of Sri Lanka, trying to see wherever the need is. This time, for the first time, we are going up north and east, and just support us, support the country, and just we have to join in the progression of our country for the next few years, and that'll be great if you all can join.
Definitely what you should be doing. It's the end of a year, so with that request for everyone at home, we wish you a lovely year ahead. Thank you so much for joining us today. Do take care. Wish everyone a very happy new year that's coming up tomorrow. So with all those wishes, do take care and keep safe.